Hello everybody, this is Squallcasting bringing you another game of StarCraft 2. And once again, we have Hyun versus Thorzain. So this is game 3 of their series. Hyun, maybe not having the most experience ever with this map, asking if it's cross positions. Thorzain says he thinks so, but he's not 100% sure. So both players are a little bit ambiguous about the map. And yeah, so Thorzain did come back and win the last game, bringing it to this deciding third game, so well played by him. So we'll see what happens in this game. We'll see if one of the players decides to switch it up and maybe use a different build or style. As games 1 and game 2 were basically mirrors of each other. Thorzain went for a biomech force in both the games. In the first game, it went to something like the 40 minute mark, 38 minute mark, something like that. And Hyun eventually managed to crush him with Lings and Ultras and Banelings and Infestors. And the second game had, well, pretty similar compositions going up against each other, with the one key difference being that Ultralisks never got out. So Thorzain throwing down his barracks in an unusual position again, I guess. In the last game, we saw him float it down to low ground to build a marine to go scout his opponent. And we'll see if he does indeed decide to expand quickly thereafter. He probably will. Hyun once again going for hatch first. And it seems like both these players understand each other pretty well. Thorzain is well known for long-term play, where he just very slowly kills you to death. And so Hyun is banking on that by always going hatch first, rather than getting a spawning pool. And throwing down an extractor now? That's kind of odd timing. I guess he wants a speedling opener. Okay. So rather than droning crazily hard, as Zerg are known to do, he's going to be slowing that down just a tiny bit by getting gas, so that way you can get speedlings out a little sooner. So an interesting decision. Could be he wants to be a little bit more aggressive. Every game so far, Thorzain has expanded, like, instantly, like that. So it could be he wants to punish that a little bit more by getting speed on the Zerglings and then hitting Thorzain with a whole bunch of Lings before he gets Hellions out. We'll see what happens. And it looks like Hyun did indeed scout down there. Did he? Yes, he did. He didn't see the commands enter, but he basically knows it's coming, unless Thorzain is crazy now. This Overlord taking a bit of fire, but it's going to get up above the high ground, and it'll be perfectly safe from any kind of attack, because that Marine can't get up there. There are rocks in the way. Giant destructible rocks. Oh, did I somehow never notice that feature of this map, that there are these random destructible rocks that lead up to expansions? I don't play 1v1s that terribly much, so I know I've played on this map before, but yeah, I never noticed there were destructible rocks here that you had to break through to get to this expansion. Okay, that's interesting. I'm learning something new about these maps. And Thorzain once again going for his Reactor Hellion expand build. Now Hyun is moving some Lings out across the map. Speed is well on its way to being done. About 1 more minute of in-game time before it is. And we'll see if that's more of just a defensive measure, just so he has more mobility to deny Thorzain, maybe be able to pick off the Hellions a little bit more effectively, or if it's designed to get a whole bunch of them and then try to keep Thorzain on one base. Could be interesting. Thorzain does love to expand and have lots of bases, so we'll see what comes out of these drones, or these larvae here. Continuing to drone, so no kinds of crazy Zergling shenanigans yet. Where? Okay, I thought I saw a weird rally. That must have been the Overlord being rallied over here. Okay. So Thorzain is going down and taking this base now, moving these 2 Hellions out. And so far, Hyun just continuing to drone. I guess he just wanted that speed a little bit earlier. It doesn't look like he's going to do anything too crazily aggressive with it. And Thorzain securing his natural, has a single Marine there for defense. 2 more Hellions coming out though, and I'll be able to secure him some nice map control. And once again, getting more barracks, getting stim, so just moving into that biomech build again. And that single Zergling sees the Hellions pass by. The Hellions decide the Zergling just isn't worth their time. This Helion's going to singe that queen a little bit, but it should be fine. There's a single spine crawler there that will be able to repel the Hellions quite effectively. Hyun moving it forward just a tiny bit so it has, so it can attack a little bit faster. Continuing to build creep tumors, making them here, so that way they're not going down the ramp where Hyun can pick them off and might just plop them on the other side of these rocks, so that way you can continue expanding creep without them getting picked off. That'd be pretty cool. Thorzain chasing that Zergling off with the two Hellions. But the Zergling does have speed, so it gets on the way. And it's moving there and gonna rally straight back to the tower. Okay. So Thorzain going for a few more Hellions this game. Last game he only went for 4, this time he opted for 6, before moving that factory onto the tech lab to start making tanks once again. And there's the Baneling Nest again for Hyun, so both players clearly having a single style that they like playing against their respective opponent, and just sticking with that, not mixing it up, not going for Banshees or Baneling Busts or anything like that. And yeah, so Hyun's just continuing to expand this creep. Thorzain does have a beat on it with these Hellions, but hasn't done anything about it yet. Hyun, though, flooding out a whole bunch of Zerglings. That's interesting. 22 lings, I mean, that's not an insignificant number. Could be he just wants to try to drive these Hellions away, maybe catch them out of position and kill them. Looks like he's going for just that. Gets us around. Wow, Thorzain not paying attention. Losing 2 Hellions, probably going to lose the 3rd, might lose the 4th as well. He is having to run on home, and that 4th Hellion, yeah, it's going to die. Definitely a blunder by Thorzain, not quite paying attention. This force having to fall back, going to have to raise the depot to stay safe. These 2 Marines not too happy about being on guard duty. This one Marine's like, I'll take you all on! But Thorzain does have enough Marines now to repel that Zergling force, so nice little play by Hyun, getting 4 Hellions. And that is 400 minerals. They're not cheap. So, they don't cost gas, which is of course good, but not the cheapest mineral-wise. Now Hyun's infestation pit did just finish up, and getting 2-2 now, so yeah, very similar to both games previously, as I already mentioned. Apparently I can't mention that enough. Let's see here. Hyun taking 2 gases here as well. Pretty standard. He needs all that gas if he's going to get infestors. And Thorzain looks like he wants to push out again. He is ahead in supply quite significantly. Wow. Those reactor barracks definitely doing their jobs. Hyun pulling back a bit. He's probably going to need to get some infestors out. Does he even have any yet? Okay, he's waiting for pathogen glands to get almost done before he starts doing them. And wow, this is looking rather dicey for Hyun. All he really has are a handful of lings. Let's take a look at the unit counts. 9 Zerglings versus 46 Marines and 4 siege tanks. Wow, Hyun in a ton of trouble. Thorzain is able to siege this with ease. Hyun does get a whole bunch of Zerglings out, but this is a rough position to be in because the siege tanks are able to shell up onto the high ground. He isn't able to get around to do a flank, so this is looking pretty rough for him. He does have some infestors out now. He does manage to clean up the force on top there, but Thorzain moving more Marines forward, going to continue to deal damage with that. These infestors completely unguarded. Might lose a few, that'd be bad. Okay, keeping them all alive. And Hyun just in such an awkward position, because he doesn't want to go charging down that ramp. There's siege tanks there, but he's going for it. He doesn't have a choice. He needs to do this or he's dead. Getting some great fungals down, cleaning up tanks and Marines, but doesn't quite kill everything. But he did thin out the tank count a lot. Now Thorzain only has 2. That helps him a lot. Continuing to run forward to Zerglings, 1-1 versus 1-0. So Thorzain not quite par on the upgrades. So Hyun in a lot less trouble than he was before. He does have this 3rd up, which Thorzain doesn't know about. Hyun trying to get through these rocks. Could be Thorzain. Okay, Thorzain's pulling back, so he doesn't want to commit anymore. He's lost a little bit too much to feel secure, continuing to push that, and very well defended by Hyun. I was pretty terrified for him there. But that is the power of Zerg. If you see an attack coming, you can have basically no army, but then turn all those larvae into attack units, and then just barely defend. And I've always loved that about StarCraft 2. There are different unit production mechanics. It's not just, you know, everyone has a building that they build, you know, guys with guns out of. Each race has its own unique way of building units, and I quite enjoy that. So, Thorzain has secured his third, Hyun taking his fourth now. A good move by him. Thorzain just camping out at the central watchtower with tanks and marines. And Hyun moving a couple links forward, dying instantaneously. Those links didn't stand a chance. These siege tanks do have the upgrades, so they will one-shot lings, because lings only have 35 health. And even with 2 armor, they'll still die instantly to that Crucio Shock Cannon. That's a pretty awesome name. Like, that feels like the sort of name you'd have in, like, a Gundam movie or something. Anyways, these overlords still haven't been killed. If Thorzain at some point gets medevacs, he'd be able to pick those off quite easily, but has not yet opted to do so. Throwing down even more barracks. He has a single starport, so... Wait, are there medevacs? Okay, there's 2 medevacs. Somehow me missing that. Go me. I'm still learning how to observe games properly. And once again, Hyun going into 3-3 melee attacks and armor, and getting that adrenal glands for his Zerglings, so they attack even faster. So, yeah, not too much to say. I'm saying basically everything I've said in the past 2 games, because it's kind of identical. Thorzain has attacked at different times, but that's really the only change. So Thorzain looks like he does want to push up on that 4th. He does have a pretty scary tank marine army, stagger sieging those tanks up as he goes, but that is a lot of lings. And if Hyun gets a nice flank in, that could be pretty good. But for now, just kind of grouping them all up there, running them forward. A lot of lings dying to tanks. That's getting so many fungals down the marines. All the marines dying. Lings are evaporating pretty darn quick though, and losing a lot of those infestors. Definitely not good. Needs to pull those back. And Thorzain losing all but 2 tanks, but he's building them 2 at a time at home, and reproducing even more marines. And Hyun down on supply once again. Another fungal goes down, taking out even more marines. But Hyun needs to pull back, needs to get 46 Zerglings. Because when you're Zerg, you don't just build 1 or 2 lings. You build double digits worth of lings. This is the best way to do it. And Thorzain just continuing to move forward. It's absolutely incredible tank positioning. Just has those spread out so nicely. So if lings run in, they will lose as many lings as possible, killing those tanks. Thorzain stimming forward a handful of marines to try to deal damage, pick things off, kiting back, tanks killing lings, and Hyun has to fall back. And Hyun just under a lot of pressure now. 3-3 will be finishing up very soon, so that will give him a pretty significant edge over the 2-2 that Thorzain currently has. These marines continue to try to deal damage. Hyun looks like he wants to go for it, charging forward, picking off marines, running forward, getting in on the tanks now. Baneling's body checking the tanks. Not the most efficient thing ever, but if you kill it, it's okay. It's worth it. Throwing down some infested marines, and looks like Hyun's going to be able to clean this up. Getting more lings from the side, picking off tanks, and now it's just marines and medevacs left. So well played by Hyun, defending from a very difficult position once again, and just picking off marines until they get friends, and then the Zerglings have to run away. So Thorzain's third is going pretty swimmingly. This refinery, though, has no one mining it. Interesting decision. And Hyun just continued. 12 infestors, wow. That's a lot of gas, and infestors are pretty darn good. That fungal growth does hurt them marines a lot. So Thorzain just continuing to build tanks, throwing down another command center, and Ultralisk Cavern on the way again. This time it's a little bit further back in the base, so it'll be let me start over. It will be more safe against drops that way. There we go. I was trying to say, like, quite a lot more safe-ish. Yeah, that was awkward. That didn't work out so well. Handful of lings running forward, killing some marines, but having to run away because there's more stuff there. And Thorzain just still wanting to be aggressive, even though he's way behind on supply. Looks like there was an expansion attempt there that did die. I don't think that got cancelled, so nicely done by Thorzain, just picking that off. And both players are still macroing, positioning around. Hyun definitely likes his burrowed infestors. But that, I don't know, like that's risky. All Thorzain has to do is throw down a single scan and those infestors die instantaneously. And scanning, and yeah, that's 300 gas. Ugh. Hyun though, running forward, still has a metric crap load of infestors. And they're both just kind of positioning around. Thorzain is getting his 3 armor for his infantry now, so pretty soon he will be on par with those Zerglings, but holy Batman, that is a lot of Banelings. Wow. Oh, and he has more that he's already made, so looks like Hyun wants to do some kind of just killing blow now, just run in there, bust through the gates, and murder absolutely everything. And here we go. Pushing on forward. That's a lot of infestors. They have a lot of energy. Burrowing 2 to scout ahead, I suppose. There is a missile turret finish, you know. And here we go. Hyun charging on in, throwing down infested Terrans to soak damage. Those siege tanks wasting shots against them. So many Banelings, but Thorzain focusing the Banelings so well, but I don't know if Thorzain has enough. All the siege tanks die. Banelings running forward, killing Marines, but it looks like Thorzain may have just barely defended this. This base, though, definitely going to die. Lots of infested Marines going down, killing all the SCVs, killing the command center, and it's not quite finishing into the PF. Gets a single shot off before it dies. So Hyun, did lose his entire army doing that, but did retain most of the infestors. That's always good. A single Marine chasing after them. I'll get them all. Don't worry, guys. So Thorzain definitely in a bit of a rough spot. Wasn't able to establish his 4th. Hyun's 4th here has been rebuilt, mining for a while. These Marines are going to run into a bit of damage, so that's Mine Crawler is going to defend long enough for Hyun to not get stuff there in time. Okay, Drone's having to run away for the moment, but Zergling surging on forward. And Hyun still has these infestors here. I guess he's almost treating these like observers, where they're invisible, and they can't be seen unless they're moving. So, just kind of hanging out. Oh, he has him set to follow on that tank. Okay, that's kind of interesting. But Thorzain is throwing out a turret again. He seems to have realized Hyun likes doing this, and Hyun's going to need to pull those infested back or they're going to die. Hyun, though, positioning in the middle. Looks like he might want to push forward again. Keeping those infestors there for now. I'm kind of afraid for them. Like, infestor. Okay, good. He's moving them. Unburrowing them, throwing out a whole bunch of infested Terrans, trying to take out that tank, and then just leaving them there to die. Okay. Oh, but he's running in here. I didn't notice that. Here we go. He does have ultras with it now. They do have the 6 armor, so they live forever against Marines. Pushing on forward, but he's going to fall back. There's a siege tank on the high ground, and that will deal lots of damage. And he doesn't want to spend the time trying to kill those supply depots to get through. Thorzain has reestablished his 4th. Looks like he pulled the orbital from his main. Yep. But Hyun laying siege to it once again. There are so many SCVs there that could die. A lot of mules too. That's wasted energy. Has to lift it up. Hyun running from 3 Marines. Okay. Guess he realized it wasn't nearly as scary as he thought it was. But there are 2 tanks up on the high ground now. But it looks like he wants to go for it. And Thorzain GG's. Wow. I suppose he was very far down on supplies. So very well played by Hyun. Taking down a very good Terran player. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching my first best of 3 series. Thank you again to the Go4 SC2 194 for providing these replays to the community so I was able to cast them. Thank you to these players for playing these games and providing us with so much entertainment. And yeah, I will see you guys later.